For the past several weeks, we've been testing out these 4 fly fishing combos, all under $200. We put them through the same tests, the same criteria, the same casting. Let's find out which scored higher and which one is the best for you. So the 4 combos that we mentioned are going to be the Orvis Encounter, the TFO NXT Black Label, the Redington Path 2, and the Echo Base, which is soon going to be replaced with the Echo Lift, but we'll discuss that later on in the video. All of these rods were actually purchased with my own money, so we have no bias towards any of these manufacturers or any of these rods. All of these rods come with line, leader, the actual rod itself, a nice reel, and then a hard carrying case. Now the case on all of these rods is a nice Cordura hard material. It will definitely protect your rods. 3 of them actually come with a case that you can put your whole rod in with the reel still on it. Where the Orvis Encounter, you have to take the reel off. It does come with a separate case with it, but you do have to take it off. So if that makes any difference to you, that's something to think about. It might save you a few seconds. So we actually put all of these rods through the same criteria. That criteria, just so you guys know, we did the build, the reel, we did the warranty, the price, and of course, and most importantly, we did casting as well. We got 3 different casters for each of these rods. We got a beginner caster, and then 2 intermediate to advanced casters as well, just so we can get you the best possible review. So we're actually testing the 9-foot 5-weight version of these rods. Very common weight for a beginner as well as a backup rod that you may use. So let's jump right into it. Let's first start talking about the build. Now the way we're going to set this up is they'll receive 0 points if they did not meet expectations, 1 point if they met expectations, and then 2 points if they exceeded expectations. So the build, we're first going to talk about what has the best build quality out of all 4 of these. Now the Redington Path 2, great build quality, great burled wood reel seat. This one actually has alignment dots. This and the Echo Base both have alignment dots, whereas the TFO and the Orvis Encounter don't. Now it shouldn't be too big of a deal, but I like those. It's really simple to set up your rod as you go out on the stream or wherever you're fishing. So definitely like alignment dots. Those get a plus for that. In hand, in feeling it, the cork of the Orvis Encounter, that one just feels the softest and the nicest. It feels really comfortable in hand. So that build quality is very good on the Orvis. That has a double uplocking reel seat as well. The only one that does not have a double uplocking reel seat is going to be the Echo Base. That has a single uplocking reel seat. Again, not too much of a deal breaker, but just something to make note of. All of them have aluminum reel seats, except, as mentioned, the Path 2. If you do want to get an aluminum reel seat with the Redington Path 2, those come on the 7-weight and above. As it goes to all the guides, all of these rods have nice snake guides. None of the guides are crooked. They're wrapped very well. So high build quality there, especially for the price that you're getting at $200. I don't really have any negatives for any of these rods in terms of build quality. I will say that 3 of these stood out when it came to build quality, and 1 of them didn't really meet expectations. So let's score these real quick. Starting with the TFO, from 0 to 2, it scored a 2. Personally, I think this is the best built rod here. The TFO looks very quality. It doesn't have alignment dots, but everything else just looks great. And it feels great. I love the black color on this as well. The next rod is the Orvis Encounter, and that actually scored just a 1. For a $200 rod, we kind of expected everything that came with it, so it did meet expectations. It by no means exceeded it, so we'll give that one a 1. The Echo Base, although it only has a single uplocking reel seat, it did get a 2. The build quality feels very solid on this one. The guides are on there straight. They're very sturdy. The cork feels good on this one. Overall, a very nicely built rod. And then finally, the Redington Path 2. This also received 2 points on this scale as well. Very nice build. Love the alignment dots, love the designs, love the features. A dark brown color with the yellow accents on it. 2 points for the Redington Path 2. Second category, we're gonna look at the reel now. All of these come with a very nice reel. All of them have disc drag systems, but where they differ is the TFO actually has a metal reel. So that one set it apart in this category for sure. So although the TFO did stand out, if we're gonna talk about the other 3 rods, they are made of a hard plastic, a polymer it seems, and the Echo definitely has the best reel on this. It has the Echo Base reel, 4 to 5 weight. The plastic feels very solid, very strong. I feel like this reel won't break down on you anytime soon. That being said, I think what had the worst reel was probably the Redington in this case. I didn't like the Redington as much. It felt a little too plasticky for me. It didn't feel as hard of a construction. The Orvis Encounter reel, that was a nice reel as well. Slightly less than the Echo Base, but definitely a good reel that would get some use out of as well. So now let's grade these reels, give them some points. Starting out with the TFO, that obviously gets a 2 points. Great construction, great metal reel on that one. Love the feel of it. The drag works great. Now we're talking about the Orvis. The Orvis receives 1 point. Good construction on the Orvis reel. Like the hard plastic it comes with, great design on it. Now the Echo reel receives 1 point. Hard plastic, it's definitely the best out of the lower three, but it does not beat the TFO, again the TFO being made of metal. Now the Redington is actually kind of between a 0 and a 1. I'm actually gonna give it a 0 because I do think that they could have made a better reel that looks more hard plastic, that feels more quality in your hand, which they did not. It feels a little cheaper than the other ones. So for this one, the Redington gets a 0. So now let's talk about casting. This is most likely what you're here in the video for. We can find out what type of caster you are and which rod will be best for you. So for this test, we're gonna break down casting into 3 subcategories. This is gonna be accuracy, consistency, and then the feel of the rod as you're casting it. So as mentioned earlier, for this test, 3 different casters, you'll see them all here in the video. We tested over several weeks. We put a lot of hours on each of these rods just to see how they cast and who they're really meant for. So let's jump into accuracy of these rods. So we cast these rods with a small dry fly, a big dry fly. We threw a nymph on there, 2 double nymph rig with indicator on there, as well as a split shot to kind of mimic some streamers. All of these rods cast very well, especially for the price range. I won't knock any of these rods for doing that. We'll start with the TFO. The TFO received just 1 point. It was fairly hard to be accurate with it. We could get the flies where they wanted to go, but sometimes it took a while to get there. The Orvis scores 1 point. A little fast, a little hard to be consistent with it and to get it where you wanted to go. For the beginner casters, it was definitely more difficult than the more advanced casters. The Echo Base scores 2 points for this category. Very accurate rod, very quickly, didn't take many casts to get the fly exactly where we wanted it to go. And this was from a big dry fly all the way to heavier nymphs. The Redington receives 1 point for accuracy. The feel of the rod wasn't very good. It was a little hard to get it where we wanted to go, but we eventually did, and it was right in the middle ground with the TFO. Now let's talk about consistency when it comes to casting and how they ranked. The TFO scores 0 points for this section. Very hard to be consistent with that rod. Once we got it to where we wanted to go, it was hard to replicate that over and over again. The Orvis receives 2 points for this section. Once we got the rod where we wanted to go, we can match it cast after cast from a beginner to a more advanced caster. The Echo receives 2 points for consistency as well as the Orvis. Very good caster, very consistent. It may have been the best caster that we casted out of all of these rods. The Redington receives 1 point. It wasn't as consistent as the Orvis and the Echo, but it was more consistent than the TFO NXT Black Label. So now we're going to talk about the feel of the rod and how it felt in hand. The TFO gets 2 points for the feel of the rod. I think this had something to do with the build quality of it. The cork felt nice, the handle felt nice, and as you're swinging it, it was nice and smooth and loaded line very well. The Orvis also receives a 2 for this category. It felt really nice in hand. The cork felt good. Very lightweight rod. I think it was the lightest out of all the rods that we tested. It just felt good. Every cast you knew you can get it where you wanted to go. The Echo gets a 1 for this category. It feels a little heavy, kind of hard to swing. Your arm will get a little tired. The Redington receives a 0 for the feel section. It just felt really clunky in hand. My wife, actually, her arm was getting tired casting this for several hours. So we definitely received a 0. Not very confident casting this one. Now, if you want some more in-depth information on how each of these rods cast, about all the different flies that we talked about, check out the individual reviews I did on these on my channel. We go much more in depth, not only about the casting, but the features and what you can expect from these rods. Now we'll talk about the action a little bit, because this of course played into our results of the casting. All of them are moderate to fast action rods. That's what they're advertised as. But some of these kind of leaned more towards the faster action, and some lead more towards the slower action. The TFO, this one definitely leaned more towards the slower action, and I think that's why it was so forgiving for our beginner casters, more delicate, and was much more forgiving as you were casting it. Now the Orvis was actually the opposite. It was definitely the fastest rod we had, and this is where we find the sweet spot is with the Echo rod. It was right between the Orvis and the TFO NXT Black Label. Where the TFO was a little slow and the Orvis was a little fast, the Echo was that sweet spot. It felt like it was that perfect moderate to fast action rod. The Redington was in between all of them, I guess you could say. The action of the Redington was a little faster than the Echo, but just a tad bit slower than the Orvis Encounter. Again, the feel of it, again, kind of felt clunky, so that did not help the action of this rod. It's definitely not as delicate as the TFO if you're planning on fishing a lot of dry flies, but the action is definitely towards that moderate to fast as displayed. So let's talk about the next item here, and that is warranty. 3 of these rods come with a great lifetime warranty, and for under $200, that's pretty awesome. One of them does not. So the TFO receives 2 points for a lifetime warranty. The Echo Base, another 2 points for a lifetime warranty, and the Redington Path 2, 2 points for a lifetime warranty. This is where Orvis is lacking. Orvis typically offers, and I'm sure you might be familiar with it if you looked at rods before, they offer a 25-year lifetime warranty on their rods, but the Orvis Encounter is not offered with that warranty. And that is why the Orvis Encounter gets 0 points when it comes to warranty. So we'll now talk about the price category. We won't rate these, as we mentioned, all of them are under $200, but some of them do vary. I was able to pick up the TFO NXT Black Label for $199. I was able to pick up the Orvis Encounter for $169. The Echo Base was $179. And then finally, the Redington Path 2, I actually got that on sale at Sportsman's. It was around $160, $169, but you might find that up to $199 at your local stores. So who won? Who took the most points in all the categories to take the best combo kit? But also, which rod would I pick and would the other testers pick as well? So we'll start with the rod that scored the least amount of points, and that was the Redington. It scored 7 points. The feel of the rod again was clunky, didn't feel as good while you were casting it. You were able to get some consistency and some accuracy out of it, but it had a great quality build. We ended it with 7 points. What came in third place and was actually tied with the Redington is the Orvis Encounter, scoring 7 points total. Now we did put it in third place because it just casted better. It was easier to be accurate with, easier to be more consistent with, so that is why I got 7 points. The negatives on it was mainly the warranty. Second place, and a very close second, was the TFO. Although the build quality was great, the reel was great, the warranty, everything else was great, the casting is where it seemed to lack. And that's why we gave it 9 points total, just below the Echo. The Echo took the win home here with 10 total points. The casting of it, very accurate, very consistent. The reel was not metal, but it was very nice quality. Very easy to pick this rod up and to start fishing and to feel very comfortable doing so and get your cast where you want them to go. Now, which one should you actually buy? That is a different question than who won this test. For me personally, I would take the Echo. It won in the points, but it also won because as a backup rod, because for a more advanced fly fisherman, it felt a little more stiffer than the TFO. It was easier to be consistent with, and that's why I would choose the Echo. Now, if you're a beginner, you may actually want to buy the TFO. My wife, who's a beginner fly fisherman, absolutely loved the TFO. She loved how easy it was to cast. She was able to put the fly where she wanted to, loved the build quality of it. So if you're a beginner just getting into fly fishing, definitely go pick up the TFO. The action on it is nice and slow, and it's very forgiving for your first few casts. Now, as you mentioned earlier, the Echo Base is actually going to be replaced by the Echo Lift soon. I wasn't able to get my hands on that one. I tried to buy it anywhere I could, couldn't find it, but I did call the gentleman over at Echo, asked them a few questions about the rod, and they actually told me that the Echo Base is going to be turned into kind of a slower action rod. So where the more advanced fly fishermen liked it is that it was in the middle between the moderate to fast. Now I guess it's going to be more towards the moderate side. So this could actually affect your decision. Now it's more comparable to the TFO. So if you're a more advanced fly fisherman, instead of going for the Echo Base, you may actually check out the Orvis as a backup rod for yourself. It doesn't have the great warranty, but it does feel a little faster. It's better for those advanced fly fishermen for the stiffness of the rod and the fast action. If you'd like to help support the channel, I'll leave a link to all 4 of these rods in the description below. I do receive a small commission. If there's any problem with that, please feel free to find these on the website of your choice, check them out and buy them there. As you can see, all of these rods are very nice. They'll get the job done. Pick one up, go out and start fly fishing, have some fun out there. I hope you enjoyed this gear review. Please let me know if I could do anything better, if you want to see any new categories that we test these rods on, or any new gear that you think that we should test here on the channel. We'll also have some more information coming out with some tips, some tricks, as well as some fishing coming up this spring and summer. So please like, subscribe, comment, and hope you have a great day.